Friday morning arrived sooner than expected. The office was unusually quiet. Emeka wheeled a small travel suitcase into Apex Innovations before heading to Tunde's office. He knocked once. "Come in." Tunde looked up from his laptop. "Ready for Abuja?" Emeka smiled. "As ready as I'll ever be." Tunde stood and walked around his desk. "Everything is packed?" "I checked 3 times. Tunde laughed. "I know you. If I forgot something, I'll buy it there." They both smiled. For a brief moment, everything felt exactly the way it used to. "I'll only be gone for 2 days," Emeka said. "I know. You'll survive without me." "I'll try." Emeka laughed. "You'll probably enjoy the peace and quiet." "I doubt it." The room fell silent. Neither of them knew why saying goodbye suddenly felt so difficult. Finally, Emeka stretched out his hand. "I should get going." Instead of shaking it, Tunde pulled him into a quick hug. It lasted only a few seconds, but it surprised them both. Emeka smiled. "That's rare." Tunde cleared his throat. "Travel safely." "I will. And call me when you arrive." "I always do." A few hours later, Emeka landed in Abuja. Joy was already waiting outside the airport. "There you are." She waved excitedly. "You made it." "I told you I would." She laughed. "I was starting to think Lagos traffic would delay your flight." Together, they drove to the hotel where the business conference would be held. The hotel overlooked the city, with elegant gardens and a grand entrance. "This place is beautiful," Emeka said. "It is." After checking in, they spent the afternoon attending business presentations and meeting entrepreneurs from across Nigeria. Joy introduced Emeka to several investors. By the end of the day, he had made valuable new connections. "You were right," Emeka said. "I almost didn't come." Joy smiled. "I'm glad you did." Back in Lagos, Tunde sat alone in the conference room. The chair opposite him was empty. He stared at it for a moment. Before looking away, Adiz entered with a folder. "You've been quiet all day." "Have I?" "You miss having your partner around." Tunde smiled faintly. "The office feels strange without him." "I noticed." She placed the folder on the table. "He'll be back before you know it." "I know." Still, the silence was louder than he expected. That evening, the conference organizers hosted a networking dinner. The ballroom was filled with business leaders. Joy and Emeka spent the evening meeting new people. As the event came to an end, they stepped outside onto the hotel terrace. The city lights stretched across Abuja. "It's peaceful out here," Joy said. "It is." She smiled. "I'm really happy you came." "So am I." For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then Joy looked at him. "You know, I haven't laughed this much in a long time." Emeka smiled warmly. "I'm glad I could help." At that exact moment, his phone vibrated. It was Tunde calling. Emeka answered immediately. "Hey, partner. Did you get back to the hotel safely?" "Yeah." "Everything okay?" "Everything's great. I just wanted to check on you." Emeka smiled. "I knew you would." Joy stood quietly nearby, giving him space to finish the call. "I'll tell you all about the trip when I get back." "I'll hold you to that." "Good night." "Good night." After the call ended, Joy smiled. "Your best friend worries about you a lot." Emeka laughed. "He's always been like that." Joy smiled. "You're lucky to have someone who cares that much." Emeka looked at his phone for a moment. "I know." He slipped it back into his pocket. Neither of them noticed that the journey to Abuja was bringing new opportunities. But it was also creating a little more distance between two friends who had never spent this much time apart. Sometimes, distance isn't measured by kilometers. Sometimes, it's measured by the moments you can no longer share. Sunday afternoon, the flight from Abuja landed safely in Lagos. As passengers walked through the arrival hall, Emeka pushed his suitcase with a tired but satisfied smile. The business trip had been a success. His phone buzzed. "Tunde, have you landed?" Emeka smiled and replied, "Just landed. I'll be at the office tomorrow." A few seconds later, another message appeared. Welcome home, partner. Emeka chuckled. Thanks. Joy walked beside him. I had a great time. So did I. We make a good team. Emeka smiled. We do. Outside the airport, they shook hands. I'll see you tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Joy got into her car and drove away. Monday morning, for the first time in days, Apex Innovations felt complete again. Tunde was reading through a contract when the office door suddenly opened. Miss me? Tunde looked up. A genuine smile spread across his face. You came back. I told you I would. Without thinking, the two friends hugged. This time, neither of them pulled away immediately. When they finally stepped back, both laughed awkwardly. I brought you something, Emeka said. He placed a small gift box on the desk. You bought me a gift? A souvenir from Abuja. Tunde opened the box. Inside was an elegant silver pen engraved with the words, "For great ideas." Tunde smiled. You actually remembered. I always do. Thank you. It suits you. Later that afternoon, Joy arrived at Apex Innovations. She looked excited. I have good news. Emeka and Tunde looked at each other. What happened? Emeka asked. The investors we met in Abuja loved my proposal. Congratulations. They want to move forward. Joy could hardly contain her excitement. And they specifically asked if Apex Innovations would be interested in becoming our long-term technology partner. Emeka looked at Tunde. Tunde smiled. That's a huge opportunity. Joy nodded. I was hoping you'd say yes. We'd love to. She smiled with relief. I knew I could count on you both. The following days became busier than ever. Joy visited the office more often, sometimes for meetings, sometimes to review project updates, sometimes just to say hello. Soon, she knew almost everyone in the company. The employees welcomed her warmly. Adiz often joked with her during lunch breaks. Even Tunde found himself smiling more during meetings. Everything seemed perfect. Until one afternoon, Joy walked into Emeka's office holding 2 movie tickets. I know we've both been working non-stop. So, would you like to watch a movie with me this Friday? Emeka looked at the tickets. He smiled. I'd love to. Just then, Tunde walked into the office carrying a file. He stopped when he saw the tickets. Oh, I didn't know you were busy. Emeka turned. No, it's okay. We were just... Joy finished the sentence with a smile. I invited him to the movies. Tunde nodded politely. Sounds like fun. He placed the file on the desk. These are the contracts you asked for. Thanks, partner. I'll leave you two to finish talking. As the door closed behind him, the smile on Tunde's face slowly faded. He stood alone in the hallway for a moment, then quietly walked back to his office. Inside, he closed the door, sat down, and stared at the empty chair across from his desk. The office hadn't changed. The company hadn't changed. His friendship with Emeka still looked the same, but somehow, it didn't feel the same anymore. For the first time in his life, Tunde wondered if he was slowly losing the one person who had always been by his side. And he had no idea how to stop it. Something feels different. Friday arrived with the usual buzz at Apex Innovations. Employees were wrapping up their work and making plans for the weekend. Inside his office, Tunde was still reviewing documents when Emeka walked in. You're still working? Emeka asked with a grin. Tunde looked up and smiled. Someone has to. I thought we agreed to share the workload. We did. Then stop trying to do my job too. Tunde laughed softly. I'll think about it. Emeka checked the time on his wristwatch. I should get going. The movie starts in an hour. Tunde nodded. I hope you have a good time. Thanks. Emeka started walking toward the door but suddenly stopped. He turned back. Tunde. Yeah. You've been... different lately. Tunde looked confused. Different how? I don't know. You've just been quieter than usual. Tunde smiled. I've been buried in work. You sure that's all? Of course. Emeka looked at him for another second before smiling. All right. I'll see you tomorrow. See you. As Emeka left the office, He couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't quite right. For the first time in years, he had asked Tunde if everything was okay. And for the first time, he wasn't convinced by the answer. That evening, Joy was waiting outside the cinema. She smiled brightly when she saw Emeka. "You made it. I couldn't keep you waiting." They watched the movie, laughed at the funny scenes, and shared popcorn like old friends. Afterward, they walked through the shopping mall, talking about work, university memories, and their dreams for the future. Joy was easy to talk to. She had a way of making every conversation feel effortless. As they walked past a bookstore, Emeka's phone buzzed. He looked at the screen. It was a reminder for the investors' meeting the next morning. He smiled. "That's strange." "What is?" Joy asked. "Tunde usually reminds me about meetings before my phone does." Joy laughed. "He sounds very organized." "He is. He remembers everything." They continued walking. A few moments later, Emeka instinctively reached for his phone again. No new messages. He slipped it back into his pocket without saying a word. Across the city, Tunde stood on the balcony of his apartment, looking at the lights of Lagos. He picked up his phone. He thought about calling Emeka. His thumb hovered over the call button. After a long pause, he locked the phone and placed it back on the table. "He's enjoying his evening," Tunde whispered to himself. "I shouldn't disturb him." The next morning, Emeka arrived at Apex Innovations earlier than usual. As expected, Tunde was already in his office. "Good morning," Emeka said. "Morning. Did you sleep here?" Tunde laughed. "Not this time." Emeka smiled, but his eyes lingered on Tunde for a moment. There was nothing obviously wrong. Tunde was still polite, still calm, still smiling, and yet something felt different. Emeka couldn't explain it. Maybe he was imagining things. Or maybe, after 24 years of knowing someone, you notice the smallest changes before anyone else does. He decided not to ask any more questions. For now. But deep inside, a quiet feeling told him that their friendship was beginning to change. Even if neither of them was ready to admit it. The office had gone quiet. Tunde sat alone, staring at the empty chair where Emeka had spent countless mornings laughing, arguing, and planning their future together. He whispered to himself, "When did we start drifting apart?" Across the city, Emeka stood by his apartment window. For reasons he couldn't explain, he couldn't stop thinking about Tunde. He replayed every conversation they had shared over the past few weeks. Something had changed. He could feel it. But neither of them had the courage to ask the question that was slowly breaking both of their hearts. Were they simply growing apart? Or were they running away from feelings they had buried for years? Sometimes the hardest person to be honest with is the one you love the most. Will Tunde finally tell Emeka the truth? Or will Joy unknowingly become the reason they lose each other forever? Don't miss episode 12. If Bound by Silence has captured your heart, subscribe, like, and turn on the notification bell. The next episode will bring them closer to the truth they've been hiding for years, and one decision could change their lives forever.